3, 2, 1.
Here we go! Welcome back to the podcast. It is a beautiful day in Vegas, 100-degree weather.
It's always 100 degrees. 100 degrees is
God,
like
I'm feeling the spunk, man. We haven't
recorded in a minute.
We were, and then we were kind of recording, and then we weren't, but now it's like.
But now we're recording.
We had good vibes. We've done a couple in a week now.
I think it's so hot. I think that it's hard to feel motivated to sit and be like, talk to me about your life.
It feels good today. I don't know. I might just got the shirt open, the wind blowing in my hair, the
Is
AC
that what's
rolling.
going on?
I don't know.
The chest hairs are blowing.
Chest hair is a blowing.
That's awesome.
So, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good.
The chest hairs. What the fuck?
Just keeping it awkward.
Let's keep it awkward.
Hey, our boys in the building.
We're gonna dial him up today. We're gonna have him on the podcast, and he doesn't even know it.
You gonna use your lifeline on him?
Oh, I didn't even realize I got a lifeline.
Don't you? We'll call him in a little bit. We can add that in, actually. Yeah, we can do that. So it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We've been doing things. Been real busy.
It's just been busy.
Super busy.
You know, but that's like the bullshit excuse that everybody makes. Oh, we're so busy. We just never had time. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing that I'm busy, but I feel busy.
The problem is we've been busier. Problem is I haven't put the podcast on our calendars every week like I was supposed to.
Yeah, if you just schedule it, it just happens. But otherwise, I just feel like I find like...
I did, but then I randomly moved it every time.
Because like we're always looking for like a fun guest.
Did you notice that? Like how like it was scheduled a couple days, and then I was like, damn,
that shit going on.
I was like, shit, I got to do this in an hour. Steve, he won't even know.
I won't even notice.
He won't even notice.
I was busy anyways.
So we got that. We got I've been cranking out some websites. People have been having some killer ass seasons, like with bookings.
It's just dumb how busy everybody is. And middle of the summer, you figure some people would slow down, and a few have, because I mean we've got some love out to Kim sitting in Palm Springs where it's 147,000 degrees and it feels like the earth is on fire.
Yeah, or even like Las Vegas ATVs tours.
He's crushing it.
Well,
he's been busy, but I mean,
we've seen busy.
Yes.
Like this is usually the normal slowdown time because it's so hot. But I feel busy because so many people are still coming to Vegas. Like
Vegas is busy. I feel bad for all our Southwest people though. Like Tucson, it's too fucking hot.
Yeah,
it's too hot.
But did you see the heat wave in Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Is that not wild or what?
I think we're kind of like accustomed to it. But when it's like 110 degrees in like Seattle, what happens?
They shut down.
The city shuts down.
The
world shuts down.
Well, I mean, even too, I think
they got water at least. They got an ocean. They got that going for them.
Yeah, but doesn't that make it worse? Muggy.
What makes it humid?
Yeah. Blah. So one time I did have a flight canceled leaving Vegas when I was moving here, and I was going to a wedding, and it was 121, and they said too hot.
We were sitting on
too hot.
We were back in the day sitting on a flight going to North Dakota, a Allegiant flight. And they could not get the AC to catch up. And I mean, when you're sitting in an airplane when it's 115 degrees on the tarmac, you just feel like you're dying.
Yeah,
yeah. And then they deboarded us because they could never get the AC to catch up.
That happens all the time on those those United flights, and they just say, "All right, everybody, sorry, it's a little warm in here," and then they keep on going.
A little warm.
It is.
It doesn't get cool until you're at 50,000 feet.
That is funny. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of these review request emails. Okay, and I feel like those are not working anymore because I
get so many emails. I don't feel like emails are working anymore.
United has been sending me like, you know what I mean? Hey, how was your experience? And I was like, well, to be honest with you, it fucking sucked. I mean, that's what I wanted.
Was that 1 star or was that 5?
But it's like, but when you can't talk to a person and actually express your frustration, like what is that feedback form doing?
When I hear you, did you see the other day that Southwest like completely fucked up and they canceled all their flights?
No.
Like something was wrong in their computer system. Basically, everybody got stuck at every airport that a Southwest flew out of.
Really?
The Southwest was down. Like their system went down.
Damn,
and everybody.
I always search that on Twitter. Like,
oops.
I've been flying to United, like in Denver. DIA's been. Well, what's your word that you use? Butthole packed or whatever.
Asshole packed.
Asshole packed. And it is.
You got to think, what does that mean though? Asshole packed.
And even Susan said that too. She was like, Chick-fil-A lines are normally long.
Yeah.
But they're 6 times as long as they normally would.
Subpar chicken sandwiches.
And people aren't even social distancing anymore. Before you had the space, right? Like, the line looks long.
So you couldn't smell the guy in front of you?
But they're asshole packed.
Asshole packed.
Waiting for that chicken sandwich. Except on Sundays.
Except on Sundays they can't. But, I hope I get flamed on this, but we got a Chick-fil-A like walking distance, like 1,000 feet from the office. It's not that good. It's underrated. I could get voted off the island for that opinion. But
I told you. I think I'm just made for a podcast today. I got the voices and everything. You're wrong on that.
It's not that good.
I'm 51 points away from the new status. Look at this. This is awesome. Look,
are you like a Chick-fil-A millionaire?
in points. But this is the funny thing. Because kind of with credit card miles, right? You build them up and then one day you eventually use them and you're like not excited that you just used them. Like I have all the points for all the free sandwiches, but I don't use them. Yeah, because I got 10,560 points. It's only cost you $70,000 to get those points. The kids,
Chick-fil-A.
I know it shows. But you know what I get? Look at this, 51 points to reach signature status. Do you know what you get with signature status? Listen to this. Participate in input and voting opportunities.
For what? What are you going to vote on? Whether it's 2 pickles or 3 on the chicken sandwich?
I'm on the fucking Chick-fil-A board with 51 more points.
You're like an owner.
Well, but in my last status, they sent me my free tickets to the Chick-fil-A Bowl, like the football game.
So what happens if you use some of those points? Now you can't use those points. You basically just have to collect them until you're on the board.
No, you keep track of your points. It's not like once you turn your points in, they let you in. But no, look at so redeem.
That'd be awesome.
If I want to redeem a sandwich, it's only 600 points.
That's a good deal, actually. That means you got a lot of chicken sandwiches in here.
So 11,000
divided by 600. That's 18 chicken sandwiches. That's a party.
That's a party.
That's a pretty good day.
Better than Chipotle for rewards, because I feel like I spend a lot on Chipotle and I don't get diddly squat.
I'm going to just shout out everybody today. I'm going to give a shout out to Kristen, who I'm sure doesn't listen to our podcast, but that was the best like boss's gift ever when I got that black McDonald's card. I was
there.
I thought I was a baller. I thought I was like, I'd crushed life. I had the McDonald's black card.
That was the cool. And what did you get? A free drink, right? Or free anything?
Yeah, it was, well.
Or did we just give you a gift card?
No, it was a big gift card. Yeah, it was like their VIP gift card of like $100 at McDonald's. Dude. Fuck me, I was the coolest guy at McDonald's.
And you had the black card. We talked about that. I don't know if that's something to brag about, but it was. But yeah, so I'm Chick-fil-A points. Okay,
that's pretty good. That's
okay,
pretty good to make it to the top of the Chick-fil-A mountain.
But remember how much free shit I used to get all the time? I'd say every day I'd bring in Chick-fil-A and I was like, yeah, I got a free orange juice. I got a free this. But they don't do that anymore once you hit. Dude. I think there's a flaw in the system.
There is. It's the same one that's in the McDonald's system, because McDonald's had all the
yes.
So if you are a fast food connoisseur like myself,
apps.
You have to have the app, because if you're going to McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or any of these places without the app, I mean, you must have way more money than me. But when I go there, I am all about the deal. I want the deals. And
they changed it, and it used to be really good, but they have changed it. Now you have to give the code. Shit. The only one that works for me, and we live by this, because it's buy one, get one free Happy Meals, because that's the most you can get off.
So did you add, talking about this, because I love talking about the McDonald's app, they added the ability to add payment to your 4-digit code.
Which you always should have, just like Starbucks.
Oh my God.
We always talked about that.
It's the greatest thing ever. So
Chick-fil-A does that too.
So now you just give them the 4-digit code and it pays for your meal, and I
think McDonald's always had the ad. Oh, you just had to pay with it in the app. But yes, now you tell them the 4-digit code at the beginning.
It's just paid. It's just paid for.
Makes all the sense.
It's fucking genius, actually.
Isn't there so many things that make
that's
so much
genius?
More
Whoever thought about this, I want to meet the app developer who thought about this because
me and Steve in our previous lives used to be welders.
I don't feel like they welded this together. I feel like they actually
we welded a lot of things together, and sometimes we thought it was the coolest thing ever. And now when they do stuff that we don't even think about, like and how that makes more sense, you're like, God damn, that was neat. Is it because we don't think about it as much anymore?
Well, now everything is so automated and so cool. Like, now it's like to be expected. Like if you went to Starbucks and actually had to use your credit card, would you not be like, what am I doing here?
I left the office today or the other day and didn't have my whole wallet. And I felt not as naked as I normally would have. Like normally I would probably went back home. I would have went back home, right?
Because what are you going to do?
Don't got my driver's license, don't got anything.
Yeah. It's challenging.
Had my phone. I can go to the ATM. I can do anything.
Yeah.
I told Susan, I was like, she listens to the podcast too, so this doesn't work. But I said, yeah, I left my wallet at home. Aren't you proud of me? And then I can't stop at the ATM so I can go gamble on the way home. She's like, good job.
Well, if you could if you had your Wells Fargo app.
That's what I was just saying.
so I
told her that. I said, aren't you proud of me? I left my can't use my debit card anymore.
So I got two things on that are funny because
shout out to Susan.
Hey Susan.
Listening.
Using my phone is the key to my car. Drive a Tesla, I can't get in my car without my phone. Yep. I never carry the card with me because I always have my phone.
No, always. Yeah.
I had to take Tito to the vet the other day, and when I got there, I didn't even, busy day, I was on my phone. I had 7% on my phone.
Oh, it dies.
So I'm sitting here, phone's at 7%. And for whatever reason, the car was way low. The car was only at like 8%. Okay?
You didn't charge your car and your phone?
My phone fucking died at the vet. I couldn't get back in the car. I had to charge my phone at the vet to get it to turn on so I could go out to my car and unlock my car. I'm like, this is some real 2021 shit here. And then,
it's going to happen. It is.
So for everybody visiting Vegas, if you want to really amplify your gambling addiction, Resorts World just opened, and it's the first casino to do cashless gaming.
Sounded like an ad. It just flowed right in there.
This is sponsored by Resorts World.
That just flowed in there.
Guys, coming to Vegas?
Yeah.
Go check out Resorts World. They're the first casino on the Las Vegas Strip.
Tell us about the cashless app. That's an interesting topic.
So if you, instead of just having a gaming card like every other casino does.
Like your player's card.
Yeah. They have an app now. And your app, you can link your credit, debit, or bank right to the app. And if you're sitting in front of a slot machine and you want to add more money to your slot, all you have to do is go in your app,
Face ID,
Face ID, add some money right from your bank account, and the slot machine will scan the QR code on your phone and add the money to your game.
Yep,
that easy. All of a sudden, now you can blow your entire account.
I talked about that with Hanlon, about John Hanlon, about that, because he's big swinging dick of
big swinging dicks. John, hey John,
he don't listen, so it don't matter. Okay. But yeah, he's and I asked him about that because we talked about that with COVID. You know what I mean? We're like, hey, do you think these casinos are going to go cashless? And he kind of was like, yeah, eventually it's going to come. But he's like, we still love our cash, right? Sure. But Resorts World, tying it to your account like that. What about the ATM fees? You know what I mean? You think that
they still charge a fee? There's still a fee in it. Oh, and it's like having your ATM on you.
Yeah, so you still charge your isn't it $12.99 now?
I think it was $10.
Remember the first time when we saw the percentage of how much money you take out, and we were sitting there and we almost both couldn't do it. We were like,
you got to take out $1,000 for it to make sense. And then I'm going to waste $1,000 at the fucking casino.
Well, wasn't it still? But if you did 1,000, that would have been a $200 fee.
I forget what. No, that's a strip club.
That's what I said. Oh, that's what I said.
You meant the casino. Yeah, if you're.
Remember we said that when we were taking the percentage, and we're like, God, when did that happen?
You cannot take money. It's 20% at Sapphires.
Yeah, they still do that. I wonder.
I have no idea.
We haven't gone.
I haven't been in a long time, but if you're going to Sapphires and you're like that guy that has to get money out at the ATM, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if that lap dance with what's going to be your name. I can't even think of a good stripper name. Give me a good stripper name, damn it.
This has been a great topic, but now I'm like, God, we're bringing on a tech company here in a little bit, and they're probably going to want to use this podcast to share some of their.
This will be good for them.
Well, you know what's great about it? Swell can actually, you can sign this up at Sapphire, and you could say, hey, how was your experience with your specific dancer?
Bambi.
And then afterwards,
I've never in my life had a dance from a girl named Bambi.
You can even collect the money. Because it all works. The messaging, everything, reviews.
What's a good stripper name? It's none of their real names. What's your favorite stripper name?
My favorite stripper name?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is where we dial in Kevin.
Let's dial in Kevin. Gonna use a friend.
Okay.
I think I've always used, what is it when we say so and so to the main stage? I got the board.
Okay,
here.
I just couldn't hear it ring.
So it wasn't ringing yet.
Yeah, it's probably true. This is gonna be good. Kevin,
what's up, buddy?
Kevin, you are live on the AMP podcast.
Why am I live on the AMP podcast?
I decided to phone a friend.
We're dialing in a friend.
You're dialing in a friend?
What?
Can we do phone sex?
We can if you. So the reason I'm calling is, in your life, what is the most interesting, or what is your favorite stripper name?
What's my favorite stripper name?
Yeah,
like your best one.
Yeah, if you could get a dance with anybody, what would be her name?
Oh well, okay, that's a different question, because at first, if I'm gonna get a dance, it's different than what I think a cool stripper name is. And that would be my daughter, because her name's Ripley Rose, and it sounds like either a Ripley Rose. Doesn't it sound like an 80s, like fucking Vince Neil went into like a Sunset Strip or something?
Oh,
like,
totally.
Ripley Rose.
Yeah, that's totally a good stripper name.
Yeah.
I mean, your daughter's probably going to appreciate that when she gets older, that her dad named her after a stripper. So that'll be good.
Oh, I'm sure she'll be fucking one of the 7 people that listen to this podcast. So I'm pretty sure it'll fucking die. I'm fine, man. I'm not worried about it.
We're over here trying to keep it awkward. Can you fucking knock it off?
Oh my god, dude! Really? Is that what you're gonna do? That what you're gonna do?
So
okay, if I were gonna get a dance and then it was Ripley Rose, I'd be like, oh my god, that's horrible. But
because that's your daughter's name.
So since this is since this is actually
shit about what their name is. It would be D. Jaden. Oh, see, that can go either way. You know what I mean?
Next on stage, D. Jaden to the main stage.
Is this a new segment?
Well, it could be. I mean, if you offer some interesting content for the segment.
It's probably the worst. I mean, it's honestly, we've actually gone a little too far, I think, on this, because we're talking about reviews and web chat and all that stuff. So would you then leave a review if your stripper said, hey, how was your experience with Sapphire? And then would you pay her with a cashless tip through your phone?
What the fuck are you guys talking about, man? Did you guys just really run out of reviews for strippers? Like fucking.
Have you actually?
Oh my god, it's like fucking. Would you leave a review for your fucking drug dealer? Like, I mean, if he needed it, I guess it depends on where she was ranking in TripAdvisor.
Have you? So maybe this is a better question. Have you actually ever left a negative review for a business?
Yeah.
Have I left a negative? Yes, I have.
Have you? What was it?
Arby's.
Arby's? How did you leave a negative review for Arby's? Do you know how delicious Arby's is?
Yeah, okay, so here's the fucking thing, dude. You know, like there's this whole thing with like the whole like shake machine. I don't know if you ever like heard this, but there's like this whole like conspiracy that surrounds the shake machines. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they're broken all the time.
Always broken.
Always broken.
Yeah. And they're not broken. I forget. It has something to do. There's a reason behind it. So I can't unfortunately, I'm unprepared. I can't expound on the shake machine theory. But regardless, at this time, I didn't understand that it was like a conspiracy. I get to the fucking Arby's, and all I want in the world is a Jamocha shake, and they didn't have the fucking Jamocha shake. Now, we all know how frustrating it is when you go there and the shake machine doesn't work. You know, this is a common thing, right? So anyway, regardless, I fucking, I can't remember what it is. They're digging around or something, so I, pull over, I go inside, and there's, this fucking girl, and she's sitting, in her Arby's uniform, and she's sitting in the dining area, and then her boyfriend is just lounging, maxed and chillaxing in her lap while she's stroking her head. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You know, I'm trying to get a beef and cheddar and a Jamocha shake, and fucking this kind of tomfoolery is fucking going on. What? Let me speak to your manager.
Jamocha.
And I was fucking
I don't even know how to
serious,
spell that.
man.
How do you spell Jamocha?
Yeah. Mocha.
Yeah, so I was fucking pissed off, dude. Yeah, so I left I left a bad review for them.
He wasn't prepared, but he can go on and tell us its story for like 5 minutes because he always does that.
I can't believe you left a shitty review for Arby's, though.
Jamocha? What's a Jamocha?
J-A.
What is a Jamocha, dude? Hold on. Let me book my flight out to fucking Las Vegas because we're going to fight. Dude, I'm always like this. DJ. Jaden, I'm always like this. I'm always ready to go with a stupid fucking anecdote.
So here's a question.
Jamocha
do you use horsey sauce or Arby's sauce?
Fucking both, player.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Good answer.
Horsey sauce.
You mix that shit together.
Horsey sauce is the greatest sauce ever invented.
Horsey's is
Dude,
good.
Horsey sauce is the fucking jam. But see, I knew that like fucking up like Arby's in the Middle Keys wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't gonna put an Arby's out of business by leaving them a shitty review. And to plug our show about SEO.
Yes, get your plug in. Get your plug in on this, okay?
I didn't say it on the show, but I did leave a review for a company that left a bad review for me, but they left 3 bad reviews and they were drunk and I wouldn't let them take jet skis. And they were on a company outing, and the dumb bastards had and they were fucking. If he didn't own a solar company and wasn't flexing on fucking Instagram, I might have let it ride. But this cocksucker goes and leaves me 3 bad reviews, and then it's like .solar.com. So I left a 1-star review, and I wrote door knocking scumbags.
And the good businesses always outweigh the bad businesses, right?
Kevin, it's been a pleasure having you on the AMP podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on,
dude. This has been like the fucking highlight of my night, man. I was like I was going through like Netflix and there's really nothing on there, and I see old Steve called. I was gonna ask you some personal questions, but now it's on air. It's weird.
Yeah. I got to cut you off before our time because this is a sponsored show, and also we're just trying to keep our time to a limit with the phone of friends. So.
This show.
You guys are gay.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
So that was Kevin ONeill from the Awkward Water Sports podcast.
He also runs a small, not a big one, a small rental operation in Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Fort Walton, not Destin.
Not Fort. He's gonna talk so much shit. It's just a small
little operation.
It's barely an operation. It's a small operation. There's probably many much larger than him in Fort Walton Beach.
Probably. So reviews, Jamocha. Have you heard of that before?
I have heard of it, but I'm not into that. I don't want that. I mean, I'm also not getting a lot of ice cream.
Oh, it's a Canadian.ca. So they're still in there.
Look at that. I bet it's delicious. I mean, I'm not going to doubt that. It's probably good, but
Arby's is good.
I thought the ice cream epidemic was really with McDonald's, not with Arby's.
Yeah, when he said that too, that's exactly what I thought.
Maybe he knows things about Arby's that we don't.
Maybe
he has like the secret menu to Arby's.
Isn't that funny how that was actually probably the funniest meme when all those stimulus checks were going around and they were saying people were saying damn, I got money, and then they'd pull up to the drive-thru and they'd be like, hey, can I get a vanilla shake? And they'd be like, sorry, machine's broken. Well, how much to fix that? They would offer to fix it for you. All the stupid shit you do with your stimulus money.
There's a good
and honestly, I don't even think people's tax returns have come back yet. Nobody's even calling a hype up from that. That's kind of a funny thing.
I don't even know. I haven't filed yet.
Uncle Joe.
Uncle
Joe was giving out all the money, and now people are sitting here. Yeah, because kids, you're supposed to be getting child care tax credits starting July.
I feel like I owe them a couple quarters.
Yeah, a couple quarters. Okay, well,
let's dial this in. I mean, I feel like this fucking podcast is definitely off the rails. I blame it on Jamocha shakes.
You let it in when you called in Kevin ONeill. So but I think it's good. We talked about reviews. We talked about some cool things like that.
Have you ever left a negative review?
Well, I was talking. Did I talk about this about the United? Like how I want to.
I could see that.
So I call in, but it's not a public review.
Yeah. Have you ever gone to like Google or Yelp and left a negative review?
No, because I've never been a review contributor. Remember, contributor kind of guy, like.
Yeah, I'm never that mad. You know, if it's that bad, I'll just not go back.
Yeah. I'm a person.
But I have left positive reviews.
I think people always.
But I feel like I'm also in the space, so it's a little like.
Because we used to say that to customers, like, usually the person that leaves a review is the person that has a bad experience, which is true. But I think in today's world, I think there was some education to it. Like, there was some education of being like, hey, this helps out a business. Like, I did that during COVID when the DJ gigs. I said, hey, can't work right now because everything's shut down. If you've ever done, or if I've ever done anything for you, leave a review for our business. And a lot of people did that.
Maybe this is a question for Susan, because she does listen. Susan, when you're mad at a business, are you going to go and leave them a shitty review on Yelp or Google?
No. But do you know what she will do? She'll
fucking call up the manager and burn that motherfucker down.
She does got a funny Colorado story, actually, about yelling at somebody's mom. and her sister had to pull her back. But, yeah, Susan's going to tell it to your face if she does. So, okay, well,
awesome.
Reviews. We talked about reviews, but I think cooler things than that is automations.
Yeah.
Swell's
built a neat platform.
Okay, so we talk about some neat tech stuff on this podcast, and that's kind of what we do.
And Jamocha shakes.
And they decided to come on, and I feel like our intro to this, they might not be sharing it out.
They're going to just hack the front off.
They can hack it off. So we're going to bring in Zeke, our man Zeke. We've been talking to him. I think Swell is a pretty awesome platform, especially to some of the competitors of.
Well, it's just got some direct integrations into the booking platforms we all use, and talking to these guys, we've got a couple new clients that'll be onboarded this next 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I'm excited. You know, these guys have done a good job, so it's good to hear what he has to say on this.
Yeah, I think that he's going to bring up some good points that we talked about even just in our pre-call when we were talking about it. It was like, you know, taking certain data that you're able to get from the booking integration or the booking systems that they can't do anything with. This takes it to a...
Well, and a lot of, let's be honest. Yeah, we're super techie, but, you know.
Exactly.
A lot of our clients are not super techie. It almost
needs to be dumbed down a little bit.
Yeah, and this helps dumb that down.
Yeah. For sure.
So, it's good.
So let's bring on, get him dialed in here and bring on Zeke. All right, so it looks like we have him on and we can bring in Zeke Kuch from Swell. He is the co-founder and chief revenue officer, and it looks like we got him on here, and we could talk a little bit more about this review management, review reputation.
What's happening, sir?
Oh, doing well, guys. Thanks for having me, Steve and Jaden. Happy to be here.
Yeah, hey, man.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
How's things going? You're in Utah, correct?
Yeah. Swell's based just kind of southeast of Salt Lake. So if you're familiar with Snowbird, like the ski resort, we're 15 minutes from there. So pretty close. Holiday, Utah.
I feel like everybody's in Salt Lake.
Well, what do they call it? The Silicon Slopes, right?
Yeah,
something like
Silicon
that.
Slopes. I don't use that term. I'm not a big fan.
I feel like that's super cheesy.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah. Do you ski, snowboard? Are you a mountain guy or winter activity?
Yeah, mountain biking and snowboarding. So we do a ton of backcountry skiing, resort skiing, a little bit of everything. And then right now is bike season, so keep myself busy on both ends.
Cool. It's awesome. Well, yeah, we were actually talking about reviews, and it's something that we've actually almost have two parts on, but we did want to bring in, somebody that's big in the tech space for the review management side of things and getting more reviews, especially, we're in the tourism space. It's something that you guys talk about directly on your guys' website. So I wanted to kind of bring you in, and we kind of had some more questions. But I thought maybe you'd give a brief overview of what Swell is and kind of, how it makes sense for tour operators, rentals, anything that you guys do. So go a little bit into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for giving me the time. Ultimately, Swell was built to help small local businesses grow their organization or grow their company. So we really built this tool to be something that's easy to implement within what's typically known as a small business. So these aren't enterprise type businesses typically that we serve. These are mom and pop shops a lot of times that are ultimately trying to acquire new customers and engage with their customers in ways they haven't done before. So it really comes down, in our opinion, to making it easier for customers to find you, making it easier for you to interact with those customers, and ultimately making it easier for you to book those customers for specific activities when it comes to the tourism space. So our main driver and our main goal is to help businesses see more new patients or more new customers or more new clients, whatever it might be, and to help move the revenue needle. That's really the primary focus here. And the way that we've done this is we've incorporated basically a toolkit that automates the way that these businesses generate reviews and converse with their customers via web chat and Facebook messaging and Google messaging, and really kind of pulling all those things into one platform that can all be ran from a mobile app, essentially. So again, it really comes down to the convenience of getting found, interacting and booking appointments more than anything else.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love these. This is kind of like the hot new thing, I think, for 2020, 2021, where, SMS marketing has become, I don't want to call it transactional, but now we're able to have business conversations inside of SMS, and it's opened up a lot. It's allowed a lot of possibilities as far as where guys can take this, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really today, it's the modern way of doing business. It's the preferred method of communication in 2021. And yeah, I think you're not going to see businesses get away from it, and consumers enjoy it as well. And, the average response time to a text message is something like 2 minutes versus an email, which is, a day, in 12 hours or 14 hours, whatever the data shows. And so we find that, businesses that are willing to adopt technology that allows them to modernize the way they communicate are going to end up winning the long-term run. So I think it's really important in today's world.
Well, and a lot of operators, or not operators, but I'm sorry, coming from the marketing side, a lot of that SMS stuff almost had gone down that same, if you want to call it, crappy road of like getting email blasted, where you would just get inundated with emails. And, people get reluctant to sign up for some of those, like, opt in and get 5% back, and because then it feels like you get bombarded with text messages. Where I really like this is you get that you're actually having a conversation, or you have that ability. It's like, the messenger bot for SMS, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, and it's really, the way that we focus and position Swell is really, it's almost like peer-to-peer messaging, where we're all about personalization with our messaging. So even in the event that there is some type of automation, automatic text being sent out based on some type of activity, we want to make it look as if somebody on the business is sending that text and responding to it, versus, what you're mentioning is like just the blast text and emails that there's not a lot of context to the text. It's just everybody's getting the same kind of generic message, right? So, where we do things a little bit differently is we're really trying to focus on the personalization and allowing businesses to take advantage of automation, but also we want it to be on the personal level. So it definitely is still typically a one-to-one type conversation.
And that was it. That was the thing. That's kind of a side note. I still DJ and do promotions and stuff. But remember when you text message numbers, when you used to have to go around with that piece of paper and that clipboard to get people for your easy texting? Easy texting was around. Easy texting for nightlife and stuff like that. Like, get on the VIP list. You know what I mean? Get your text message. And we even talked about with short codes. I mean, because we've done some stuff with short codes.
Text Bazinga to 363636. Yeah. I don't know what that gets you. If you guys try it, it maybe gets you a free offer. But they killed that whole short code game. You can't. Yeah, we just talked about that. It's really expensive now, isn't it? It's like $5,000.
Do you have any insight on that? Because we were just talking about that. Because before the short codes you'd almost see who's all using the same platform or had the same short code numbers. So you'd be getting like your 10% off to Chili's and your 20% off to Express, all on the same short code. But any insight on that?
I mean, I have definitely my personal thoughts on that, and then we have a little bit of data around that, but we're not big fans of the short codes, as you can imagine. When I get a short code, I immediately think it's spam, and I don't even open up the engagement. The only thing that I'm looking at now with short codes is typically if I'm trying to reset a password, and that's I'm getting some kind of two-factor authentication text message, then it's usually through some kind of short code, and that's about the extent of the engagement with short codes on my end. So we're not big fans of short codes. Our system is really built around, again, making everything look personalized. So we create or mimic local phone numbers to make it look like it's coming from a local business or a local person serving that specific market. And we're not big fans of the toll-free texting numbers or the short code numbers.
Yeah.
Here's I know you guys do an integration with Facebook Messenger and Google My Business, correct?
Correct.
Obviously, I mean, I guess not asking where the platform is going, but Apple's kind of pushing some people into that new Apple Messenger chat for business. Is that, I would have to guess that's in the pipeline at some point, or it's a thought process?
Yeah, those things are definitely being evaluated. I mean, we look at, what are the primary forms or channels of communication? And even the Google messaging a couple of years ago that didn't exist, now it does, and it's becoming more and more popular, which gives us a reason to incorporate that in our solution. So we'll definitely watch how the Apple rollout takes place. It's pretty new.
Yeah, it's way new.
And so once we have a little bit more data around that and the adoption level, then it makes it pretty easy on our end to say, okay, that's something we want to implement as part of our omni-channel inbox.
Zeke, I need you to figure this out because I think this Apple chat is going to be neat, and I've got it rigged together, and I don't like how it's rigged together. So if you could get on that would be appreciated.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
Although we've yet to receive a message from Apple from a customer using it. In my head, it's going to be awesome. So trust me.
And isn't that kind of tell us a little bit about, because me and Steve have been talking about review games, I mean, since the beginning of the marketing agency side, right? Like how important reviews are and like why it's important to respond back to customers. And I know that's kind of where your guys' business started, right? Because that review management platform was the thing, right? Yeah. It's always, hey, make sure you get more reviews because it's going to help with your SEO.
That was the first product that we launched.
Yeah, exactly. Put in something to collect reviews. Review gating is something that kind of went away, but I mean that was always something too. Like, hey, how was your experience? And we always thought like that's the smartest thing ever. You know what I mean? If it was great, they're more likely to give you a good review. So tell us kind of how you guys involved, and then like also too. I mean, to your point, I mean things are now, this type of technology is getting almost cheaper or more affordable to a business to look as like a utility rather than it being just this overdated expense like, oh, I'm not getting reviews from it or anything. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, the evolution of Swell was really started with the review generation, and it was really how do we help businesses stand out, and how do we make it easier for them to get found. And online review, we live in a consumer-driven world now where whether you're purchasing a product on Amazon or you're looking for a new dentist down the street or you're going to go book a fishing charter in Miami, typically the first thing people do is they hop on Google, they do a quick search, and they pick the one of the best reviews.
Yeah.
That's how a majority of people make their decisions today. And basically, there's credibility behind those decisions because the masses have said this is a really good business to do business with, or they've said this is a business that you shouldn't do business with. And there's no need to call all your friends and family members to find out their experience with these businesses. It's all online. It's all your fingertips. And so when I talk about convenience, the first thing is really how easy is it for someone to find your business and choose you? It's got to be convenient for them to find you, meaning when they do a local search, you're showing up as 1, 2, or 3 in the local search results, and you have these great reviews that are going to make it very likely for them to pick you over the guy down the street. And so that was where we got started, and we built and focused on reputation management and review generation, and we took that to market, and the way that we did it ended up being extremely effective. We did it without having to violate the Google policies and Facebook policies of review gating and filtering, because we found that most businesses actually do provide a really good experience for the customer. The bigger challenge is that most people who have a good experience don't go out of their way to leave a review.
Correct.
It's those who had a bad experience are the ones that are willing, we call them the Karens of the world, right? That's the new slang. So those are the ones that go out of their way to blast these businesses publicly on online forums. Zeke, so what we found is that
be careful. Be careful. You're going to get canceled by all the Karens if you call them all Karens.
I didn't mean that. I take it back. But
don't take it back. Don't take it back.
The reality is that every business is going to have somebody that doesn't have a good experience, and it's inevitable that they'll get a negative review on a review site or another. But really, our focus is less about that and more about helping drive more positive reviews from the masses that have had a good or satisfactory experience. And we find that most businesses have that type of customer base and provide that type of level of service. And so that's where we got our start, and we did really well there, and we grew rapidly. And then along the way, we decided, okay, what are the other things that we could be doing to help continuing to convert more potential customers into customers? And naturally, that went along with messaging and helping convert on websites using our web chat, which is extremely effective at answering questions that somebody might have. So before someone books some type of activity or charter, they can ask a quick question. Hey, what is the maximum group members? Or do you guys offer multi-group discounts or things like that? They can ask those questions right on your website and get a real response from a real human being. And the beauty of this is it's all text-based. So instead of sitting there waiting for 2 hours for someone to respond on your website, we find that it's more effective for the business to be able to respond back to your cell phone. So you don't have to sit on that website for hours for someone respond.
Yeah.
Especially in the tourism space where, let's be honest, most of these are smaller businesses that aren't sitting in front of their computer all day waiting for a chat to come in. They're oftentimes running a business and operating tours and other things. And we just want to make it as convenient for them to also respond when they're available to do so.
For sure. And that's even too, I mean, the hard part is, I mean, it's funny the things you say, and then it even looks at how long I've been doing this now and getting older. Like we've been talking about the same way of using this market, and to some people it almost sounded, you know, like kind of crazy or just going to be a fad. But this has been like the last, like we're still using text messaging, right? Yep. You're still your customers are still going to ask questions before they book. You know what I mean? Like, as much as you have this great website, as much as you have your FAQ and everything you're going to do, they're still going to call. And even to us as human beings, I mean, shit, how many times we call hotels and try to book direct or to find out more information, to get the deal, or even, you know what I mean? It's all the information's on the website, but you still call or you want to talk to a human being, and that stuff's not going away. And then also, too,
that the old guy side of us, though?
I'm not getting that old, but
You're pretty old already.
Getting old, yeah. I guess I'm getting old.
I feel like that, you know, that was such my dad's move too. Is you're like driving down, we're gonna call that hotel, we're gonna see if we can get that deal. I don't know. I still do the damn. But then I'm also like quick to pull the trigger on hotels.com. So
I'm waiting. You'll book an Apple Chat.
I would book an Apple Chat.
You'd book an Apple Chat, right?
If it was easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was like press 1 to book now, yes.
Yeah, we'll see.
But that's what it goes back. You know, you Steve, you just mentioned it. That's really what it's all about. Is it's really just about convenience. I mean, think about the world we live in today. We live in a world where I can buy products on Amazon and have them shipped to my house same day. Yep. I can jump on my app and find love by swiping right. I can, you know, download my favorite podcast in 2 seconds and have that to listen to the rest of the week. And so we live in this world of instant gratification because that's what us as consumers have been molded into thinking everything should be that easy. And so if you're a business operator, you got to be thinking, okay, what is the expectations of consumers today? Well, they want answers right away. They want to be able to book appointments immediately. They want to be able to book appointments before they ever talk to a human being. They want to be able to chat and text with people versus calling them. And so these are the things that we are really trying to solve for these businesses that haven't modernized the way that they communicate and engage with customers. And so it's really just focusing on, it's really the factor of convenience more than anything else. Is it convenient for them to find you online? Is it convenient for them to book an appointment? Is it convenient for them to ask questions without having to pick up the phone and call you? And those are the challenges that we're helping solve.
Yeah.
It's when you say that and you bring up Amazon Prime. The other day I heard the most interesting thing, and I don't know if I can find it here quickly, but when they were describing like the idea of, you know, everybody signed up for Prime and it's just became so second nature to shop off of it. And the argument is always, well, I'm paying whatever it is, $128 a year, $150 a year, whatever Prime costs. And is it worth it? Well, the average purchase happens on Amazon in like a minute 20. It's so fast compared to getting in your car, driving to Target, shopping for the same thing, to buy the exact same thing you buy on Amazon that fast. So over the course of a year, that $150 actually ends up saving you based on like minimum wage, like $1,000.
Yeah. Well, even the crazy thing is too, is I mean, I've paid for Amazon forever, even when we lived in North Dakota, and we always were like, oh, is it worth it? Is it worth it? But then it's like, look at all the value added that they give you that you don't even use, like the streaming.
Has anybody ever actually used Amazon Music?
I use it with Alexa.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because we at home. So, but it's free. It's like it gives you everything.
But I mean, I get it's free, but then I also pay for Spotify, and I have a Amazon or an Apple Music account, and I think I still have a Sirius.
I do have Sirius.
I'm totally getting robbed here. I could be just using my Amazon Music.
We talk about that too when we were talking about like smart home stuff, like you know switching to Apple the HomePods, and it's like why? Because Alexa. That's why I don't pay for Apple Music, actually, because all the Alexas have the music on it.
Built in.
And lyrics. It's like karaoke.
So you guys just sing to each other all day.
Yeah. That's what you do. The kids do. So, see, Zeke, we get off on tangents like this all the time. So if you want to pipe in anytime, feel free. Like,
if you've got something far more interesting to tell us, you can go ahead.
No, Amazon's got me. I mean, my Alexa's not even set up. It sits in a cupboard. I'm still paying for all that stuff. So I'm definitely I'm definitely being taken.
I always think it's
that they don't charge you per devices.
No, I think it's interesting when tech guys guys that are in tech don't use the tech that they have.
Yep.
So Zeke, why haven't you set up your Amazon Alexa?
I use Google Assistant for the most part.
Really? You're that guy, huh?
What kind
of? And strangely enough, I don't know why. It was just the first one I had, and I never changed.
Do you have an iPhone or Android?
No, I'm an iPhone guy.
Okay. Yeah.
We were almost gonna troll you.
Yeah. So
well, I'm not a developer. I mean, my whole developing team, they're all Android guys. They won't even touch an iPhone.
That's true too. We talk about that too. We're all Apple guys, and we've always been Apple guys, and we've paid for the premium prices on stuff. But we have seen so many neat things from other devices that are like, why don't we use that? The only one I think that we use most now is Google Meet.
We use Google Meet. Do you use Microsoft Teams at all?
No, absolutely not.
I hate it.
Microsoft Teams.
But have you seen, I mean, obviously you're in tech and you kind of see it. Have you seen what a huge push there is and to use Microsoft Teams? Or you buy Office and then you get Teams with it and it's like the freebie so you don't use Slack. Oh my God.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's just their way to wrap their tentacles around you, right? It's just, they're trying to display Slack and Zoom and everybody else.
I had to join a meeting the other day that was in Microsoft Teams. And I couldn't even tell you, like the only time I ever have to use my Microsoft account is to log into my Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only time. I don't have a Hotmail. I don't log into any of that stuff. And I never know the password, and I had to figure it out to get into this goddamn meeting. And I was like,
I thought you said Teams was easy, so it's not as easy.
It wasn't as easy. No, but it's hyped up. It's hyped up as supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not. Sliced bread is awesome. Microsoft Teams, not as awesome.
Yeah, I'm not quite sold on it yet, so I'm still pending my investigation there.
Yeah. So your guys' thing, so I'm sorry, I love talking about all sorts of weird tech, and you guys being in the software industry, that's like my favorite topic ever.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you guys have integrated so let's get into the tech side of it. You guys have integrated payments, so I can see the rabbit hole that would go down. I know you guys have some integrations with some of the people that we do business with, the Fair Harbors and some of that of the world. Yeah. Can we talk about that a little bit? Like, how does this make sense? We've got tour operators around the country. They have broken systems. They are not, they're using their Fair Harbors to collect reviews or their peaks to collect reviews. They don't use chat. They don't have systems in place. Why Swell? Why should they do this? How does it integrate? What value proposition is there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, when we think about integrations, when we think about review, whether it's review generation or two-way communication, web chats, any of that stuff, even text to pay, it's really about, we talked about convenience already, but it's really about automation and personalization. Those are the two things that are super important when you're trying to engage with a customer. So automation, the reason that's important is one, it doesn't requires a human being to trigger off some type of event. Yep. So our integrations with some of those platforms you mentioned, like Fair Harbor or Peak or Smart Waiver or somebody like that, some of these major platforms in the activity space, that allows us to just create these personalized review invitations or text messages or appointment reminders or things like that help, help the operations of the business without requiring the human element. So we think that's extremely important in today's world, is have that automation and leverage text message in doing so. A lot of these systems are still email based, which, let's be honest, that's very old school in the approach. We live in a millennial age where, if it's not text message, it's not getting read. And so, automation and then the personalization side, we're not just sending out a review invite after a completed activity. It's sending out a review invite that says, hey, Steve, we hope you had a great experience with Jaden, your tour guide. Please click here to leave us a review on Google based on your experience. And it's very tailored to the experience that that specific customer just had versus just some generic invite that's, hey, we hope you had a good experience, click here, which is what most of the systems do. Yeah, so we can actually read the data that's being passed to us from those business management systems, those booking softwares, and we can customize the verbiage of the text, the images, the branding, and everything that goes along with that review solicitation, and allow the recipient to say, oh yeah, that is Jaden. That's the guy I just did a tour with. He was awesome. I'm definitely going to leave him a review. And we make it look like it's almost coming from him versus, again, some kind of automated HubSpot tool or something like that. So it's really the automation and personalization, which is the two big key differentiators between us and some of the competitors in the space. The fact that we're pulling that data and we're able to trigger off different verbiage based on those type of activities is crucial.
So I'm very interested as you guys continue to grow, because I mean, I love obviously the integration thing. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm interested in some feedback on this because I'm totally the nerd on it, but we just discussed the Zapier and Zapier. I would love somebody from Zapier, because that's what I'm going to call them, to step up and tell us how to correctly pronounce this.
It's totally,
because it cannot be Zapier.
It's totally Zapier, because people say Zapier, but it's a zap, because we're zapping it together.
Create a zap.
We're creating a zap. So it's Zapier. It's not Zapier. So
I'm going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to their PR.
They probably all have Android phones, and they're all developers too.
They're going to be like, well, obviously it's a Zapier, because a Zapier is a weird bug that ties together with other bugs.
The Z is a silent with a little apostrophe over it.
It's actually an apier.
Yeah.
Never mind.
What do you?
I call it Zapier. You know, I'm not an engineer, so I'm more on the business side of Swell, not on the development side. But Zapier is how I've always pronounced it. I would say that Zapier is not as sexy or fun to say. So if it's Zapier, I'd recommend to their CMO that they start doing a rebrand under Zapier.
You know what it is? Like, remember on or like when you look at some people's Facebook page and then it's like their name pronounced as. That's what Zapier needs. Yeah. Pronounced as Zap, soft A.
But it is a Zap, because they call it Zaps. It's not Zapes.
I agree.
So
then we need to run a campaign, and I'm going to start calling out everybody who calls it a Zap.
You can send out surveys in Swell too, can't you?
We should send out a survey to everybody if it's Zaps or Zapes.
We'll send that out
to everybody. Zeke, I want to how did you get such a fun job title? Job titles are such interesting things to me, because when you're co-founder, I guess you got to pick your. You got to pick it. You can put whatever you want on your business card, right?
Well, I was trying to be, head of junior interns, but my counterpart here and my other co-founder didn't think that was
that's not high level
enough. So it didn't look good on a business card apparently. So it's my background is primarily in software sales and growth strategy, and my title here is Chief Revenue Officer or co-founder. I'm not a big title snob. I don't really care about titles. They're pretty much meaningless in today's world, in my opinion.
Yes.
So everybody at this point in the world is a VP somewhere. So it just who cares in my opinion. But
I was just it's the funniest thing, because obviously you guys have probably hired some people and you run some ads on LinkedIn, or you on Indeed, and you see like everybody's like the chief of something, and it's like, are you? I mean, are you really? Are you? So I have no idea what the correct job title is. Chief Revenue Officer sounds badass.
Yeah,
sounds like you do.
I didn't make that up. It's a pretty common
it's a real one
in software, but
it's a real
I guess it could be. I mean, it could be pretty kick-ass, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of a kick-ass one.
So one we actually had. Sorry, my
how many
actually? So we had a person a couple weeks back on the show that does tips. Okay, so tips for tour operators and stuff like that.
Write that down.
Does that have that's totally something that could almost be implemented with even your pay with this, correct?
Yeah, we're talking about monetary tips, not tips on how to run your business, right?
Yes, tips for cash because of the payments.
We're talking about the right tip.
Yeah,
or just the tip.
It was tip.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should not be sending just the tip out via text message.
But when you said that about the, the taking the data points of this tour guide, leaving the review, does that make sense to maybe ask to leave a tip for him?
Zeke, we need you to bring in the development team on this call here, because we're going to need to talk about integrating tips into Swell.
Yeah, we can actually do that already, to be honest with you. Oh. So our text to pay feature allows basically any business to send a payment request via text message, and it allows the recipient to pay via Android Pay or Apple Pay or plug in credit card information and leave a dollar amount. So there is that option already in Swell, and we can even automate some of that with the integrations that we have to date. So Yeah, that's already available. Steve, sorry, I can't bring my development team to talk to you about that.
I was telling that too. I'm like, I think they already thought about this. It's just not maybe marketed. Well, sometimes it is true though. Some things are not brought to the table like the way that we look at it, and always overthink stuff.
But like his pay thing. So does it work where they can pick their amount, or are you picking an amount and sending
that's
it
a
out
request?
Yeah, there's some customization there, so it's really both. Typically, it's like pick, here, would you like to leave so and so a $5 tip, or that's typically the best way to do it. That way, they don't have to make any decisions.
Yeah.
The idea in today's world, the less decisions somebody has to make, the more likely they are to complete something. So that would be the way we recommend is putting a kind of preset dollar amount on what the standard tip is, and then to send it out saying, hey, if you'd like to leave a tip, click here, and then it just says, here's a $5 tip, $10 tip, $20 tip, whatever that standard might be.
Yeah.
The real question is do you tip when you go to Chipotle?
I don't go to Chipotle, so I couldn't tell you if that
fast casual, Subway,
fast
casual. The
sub
quick
shop
pizza place.
Yeah, I don't eat at Subway either. I think Subway's about to go down, right, with their fake tuna. The tuna gate.
I don't think Subway's ever going down, but
I
saw the tuna. I saw the tuna thing. That is funny, but Subway, I think they're a pretty big player in the game. What happened to Jared? Nobody knows what happened to Jared, but
well, I think
he's
we know
still
what
serving
happened
time,
to Jared.
I think
Jared's.
Hey, speaking of side note, did you see Bill Cosby?
I did.
He got released. Did you know that?
It's a weird thing.
I did that is news. I didn't get my TMZ update. Apparently.
Breaking right here, man. Bill Cosby released today.
Yeah, on a technicality.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't think it's a good thing. I mean, I think it's a crazy thing. I mean, this is certainly not our tabloid. This is our tabloid section of the podcast. Zeke, what is your opinion on
We bring you back in. Now you're just gonna finish off the podcast with us, Zeke. So what is your opinion on that?
I'm going to probably take the fifth on this one. I feel like no matter what I say, I'm going to get slaughtered.
Oh, no.
Steve always talks about the pudding pops.
Yeah,
that was the best. Everybody wanted
chocolate swirls.
Everybody wanted a pudding pop. I can't even take it seriously. What the hell? Man. Oh. No, that's probably not funny. There's probably a lot of people not laughing at the idea that Bill Cosby's getting out of jail.
I searched Twitter. A lot of people are happy.
Who's
trending? I don't know, but see, that's
happy about that.
It's the same thing. Like when we see OJ Simpson at our local wine bar in Summerlin, and people are like, "What's up, OJ?"
You know who really got hosed on that whole deal, like with Bill Cosby going to jail?
Yeah,
is everybody that was on the Cosby Show.
Yeah,
because he had enough episodes to be in syndication, but he got straight canceled. So all the people that were on the Cosby Show that would be making that syndication money basically got fucked. Because the Cosby Show does not run, which is to show you that if you would like to make that long-term syndication money, don't go drugging girls.
That's probably a good rule of thumb in general. But
somebody said
in that case,
somebody said the technicality. I saw on Twitter. I read the Twitter lines. It was he got off because he gave them the drugs, but he didn't give them the drugs.
That's so stupid. Okay. So Zeke, back to software. Tell me about Zeke. Where did you come from? Like, what did you do before Swell? Like, have you always been a software guy?
Yeah.
Have you always lived in Utah?
No, I'm actually a Southern California native. So I grew up in Southern California.
Okay.
Pretty much born and raised. Randomly met my wife at a Dodger game. Somehow ended up in the Utah tech scene a couple years later, and then bounced back between here and Southern California. But big fan of Utah so far. No complaints. Tons of activity. It's a great place to be. The tech scene here is wild. It's on fire. It's just an insane amount of venture capital pouring into the, what we mentioned before, the Silicon Slopes here.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a ton of growth, just population growth, business growth. It's really actually pretty exciting to watch and witness. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, isn't that interesting when you bring up the venture capital side? I listen to a bunch of podcasts where they talk about VC money, and the other place that's blowing up and nobody really understands why is Miami. But basically, all the VCs are just tired of San Francisco, so they're like, if we're going to move somewhere, they're either moving to Austin, Texas, or to Miami. So there's all this VC money showing up in Miami, just because it's like a great place to live. If you want to live someplace and invest your money, why not do it in Miami? But
Miami's not a terrible spot. Honestly, it's a great place. Good weather.
Weather's pretty good year round.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. You got San Francisco and LA, obviously two pretty big venture scenes. And then you have, obviously New York. And then outside of it, those were kind of that was the scene for a long time, for decades, right? And now in the last, 10 years or so, you've seen markets like Salt Lake, Austin, Raleigh, North Carolina is actually a hot tech scene right now.
Yep.
Miami, like you mentioned, Nashville on the healthcare tech is really growing. And now, COVID, I think, has actually helped expedite some of this growth in some of these other markets as well. So people working remotely now, you're seeing new businesses being formed in some different markets that aren't the traditional VC kind of breeding grounds. And it's actually really wild and exciting to watch.
Have you guys done a round or taken a round?
We actually are. We are venture backed.
Okay.
We've been, we run our business a little bit differently than some other, rapidly growing software companies. We've been more about sustainable growth. Sure. So we're not just trying to grow at all costs. We're really growing in a more sustainable way, in our opinion. Not that one way is wrong or right. Our approach is more just make sure we take care of our customers, build the right product. And then, we're not trying to build a bunch of buildings with our name on it. And, we don't have like a 3-to-1 beanbag to employee ratio.
Zeke, that could be a dig. I know who your competitors are down the street. That could be a little bit of a dig, but we'll let you keep rolling.
You could take it however you'd like.
No, I love it. That's funny. That's hilarious.
There's no wrong or right. It's just different. And yes, but to answer your question, we are venture backed. We love our investors. Our major investors are here in Utah. We have some in the Midwest, actually out of St. Louis, and then out of New York. So we kind of cover the whole landscape there.
That's awesome, man.
Cool.
No, I always like hearing that. That's always an interesting conversation because it's a mixed bag. You hear some tech startups that bootstrap it, some that are actually going out and they raise the money and they do that. Having done it, having raised money, would you do it again? If I were to do it with the same investors we have today, absolutely. They're on board. They get our vision. They are really helpful. And it's a very positive, relationship that we have with the entire kind of investor ecosystem here at Swell. Cool.
There's pros and cons. We bootstrapped for the first couple of years, and so there's benefits to that as well. You just end up typically growing a little bit slower. Yep. It's not necessarily always a bad thing, but I think at any point, every software company comes to the point where it's how fast do I want to grow? Do I need to bring in outside capital to do so? And what are my risks when I do that? So there's dilution, there's, you're giving away equity. You have other, you have other people now who have skin in the game that want to see specific and expect specific results. And so there's pros and cons. And I think it's something that every founder or an entrepreneur should always weigh, but I wouldn't say that there's a right way to do things or a wrong thing. I think it's just depending on what's the objective of the business.
I think in that tech space, it's an interesting thing because, like you said, to the point of how fast you want to grow, when tech is growing as fast as it is and you see the guy down the street with, let's call it 100 employees or 200 employees, and half of that staff is just dialing for dollars, if you want to call it, knocking on doors, trying to get sales, their cost of acquisition is through the roof, but it's also the land grab. How many clients can they bring on? And once that client is on, how sticky is the client? It's interesting. I mean, there's so many different ways to skin it. So not to go off the VC business owner chat, but it's interesting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, awesome, Zeke. Well, we're totally going to be, doing some more stuff with you guys. We're figuring out how to put this into our offerings for a lot of our clients in the tourism space. And we want to continue to, continue the relationship with you guys. If people want to find out more, they can visit you guys online, sign up, even to us, we can even refer you over to get you guys kind of a demo set up and go from there. But thanks. Really appreciate having you on, Zeke. And, We'll probably be talking to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for having me. I had a great time.
Thank you, sir.
To, our next conversation.
Cool. Awesome, man. Talk to you later. Thanks for being on the show, and we'll see you later.
Thanks.
So I'm glad that we got that show dialed back in after we...
It was a little bit more controlled. Zeke.
But he brought up some interesting things, but then I think he's also a funny guy. I'm glad he was able to kind of cut back, let loose with us a little.
Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff is so serious. And I get it. It's people's business, but man, it's nice to hear when people have actually fun with this.
Yeah, it is cool. So I'm glad everybody listened to this episode. I think it was a good one. It was a fun one.
I mean, I feel like we're doing an injustice if we don't give a shout out to the Arrival crew. If you're not registered for Arrival, you should be. We're going to Arrival. We'll be at Arrival.
We're going to that, and
we're trying to participate with the Awkward Water Sports guys and their water sports roundtable thing. We're gonna do something with them on that. So if you're an operator and you're looking for something fun to do in October, you should join us in Orlando. We're probably going to go to Universal Studios, I would think. Maybe go to Disneyland, and maybe this convention dedicated to tour operators. Right. I don't know if we're going to have enough time.
I'm bringing the podcast. The podcast in the road. Of course we are.
We're going to do the podcast in the hotel room. It's going to be just creepy. Can we do it from like Disneyland?
We can do it from wherever we want. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you all next time. AMP Podcast, subscribe, like, and we'll see you all later.